Most people I talk to about the Constitution see it as something someone else should be using to protect their rights. I agree. People like politicians, judges, and attorneys should be using the Constitution, should be enforcing the rules of the Constitution. Today, however, they show little interest in fulfilling the oath they took to support it. Now, part of the reason I believe is the fact that most politicians and all judges and attorneys learn their craft in law schools. Sadly, it appears that these supposed schools of law completely ignore the supreme law of the land. For more than 5 years, I've asked every judge, attorney, or anyone who attended law school a simple question. Did they study the actual Constitution in law school, or did they study constitutional law? In those 5 years, I've had exactly one person say he studied the Constitution in law school. Constitutional law, quote unquote, is not law because it did not go through the lawmaking process. Rather, it's the opinions of judges passed down and manipulated over generations of attorneys in order to arrive at the outcome they sought. Many of the law school graduates I have met stated how they studied the Constitution in other ways, but the schools dedicated to teaching the law have failed to teach the students the supreme law of the land. To understand why this is so important, let's take a look at how the Constitution functions. What prevents Congress from making laws that control a person's speech or what they can publish? Most people would say the First Amendment. The First Amendment may prohibit such actions, but can do nothing to prevent it. Only the enforcement of the First Amendment would render such a law null and void, and only the political backlash from such unconstitutional actions would prevent members of Congress from voting for such a law in the first place. It's the same way a hammer cannot drive a nail until it's picked up and swung properly. Yet in the United States today, Congress passes hundreds of unconstitutional laws, and the executive agencies promulgate thousands of unconstitutional rules and regulations every year. Yet no one seems concerned about it. Why? Well, first, I believe that most politicians and bureaucrats have no clue what the Constitution actually says. I guess in their case, ignorance is bliss. Second, we the people rarely, if ever, actually provide the political backlash to dissuade government actors from their unconstitutional acts. Why do the American people do nothing when the supreme law of the land is violated? Again, I think there are two reasons. First, we the people know even less about the Constitution than those who went to law school. In this case, ignorance is not bliss, but misery. Second, because we keep sitting around for Captain Constitution to fly in and save the day. Is this how the Constitution was meant to be wielded?